battling against Jason Broach. You see them now on your screen. Jason Broach on the left. He is playing a show and tell deck with Hive Mind. So he has actually progenited both the pacts to win as well as being able to show and tell just progenitus right into play.
Yep. And this will be an interesting matchup because really the only thing, in my opinion, that keeps these combo decks in check, because they're very fast and very consistent, is these sort of blue aggro control tempo decks.
Right.
The combination of a clock plus pierces and force of wills and dazes and snares, all that stuff, just to compress the game and keep the combo deck just off of its action enough to win the game.
Right.
In time.
Yeah. I mean, against a lot of types of even control decks or other aggro decks, the combo decks, because they're also able to play force of will, pact of negation, they're able to protect themselves from whatever sort of minor disruption their opponent might be capable of. But playing against a deck that has force of will, daze, wasteland, things like that present them with a bunch of disruption that they have to fight through, along with pressure, can be a real problem.
Yep, and I actually watched Broach win on. I birded a match he was playing against High Tide. He won on the third turn over the top of 2 Force of Wills.
Wow.
So these decks are certainly capable of pushing through the disruption.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Prosak has a lot to offer, so we'll see.
So Broach on the play, he cracks a Flooded Strand to ponder.
He's looking at a Hive Mind, a Underground Sea, and a Pact of Negation, it appears.
So it looks like he has... What does he already have in his hand?
Cannot really get a good glimpse of his hand.
But he already had Hive Mind in hand, it looks like.
Also worth noting that, it looks like he's a little jammed up on mana. He has like Intuition, multiple Force of Wills, and a Show and Tell, but no third mana source to...
Right, so, he's going to keep it, though.
It is also worth noting that Jason Broach has absolutely impeccable handwriting. This is the best handwriting I've ever seen in my entire life.
It is pretty impressive. Prosak is kind of fancy, too.
Yeah, he's a little fancy. Yeah. Some flourishes.
Yeah, he's got like his eyes are little circles, like the dots. They're not like hearts or anything, but they're pretty, pretty fancy.
It sort of looks like a middle school girl's diary.
It kind of does. I actually once almost got a penalty for how bad my handwriting was.
So there's an Underground Sea, and again, Broach, I don't believe has a third mana coming, and there's a Wasteland from Prosak, so
which allows us to deploy Tarmogoyf, which will. I'm a little confused by Broach's choice to keep this when he was Mana Light, pondered and kept, and now he doesn't have another land, and he's just gonna get Wastelanded. Yeah,
one presumes missing his third land drop there. Prozak's gonna just fire off that Wasteland, even if the turn's a little less efficient.
Yeah, absolutely. He generally speaking, when you keep your opponent, he doesn't know necessarily what his opponent's playing. It certainly looks like some sort of combo deck where he's pondered and just done nothing. Oh, you have an Underground Sea and an island, and you've just done absolutely nothing. You're probably trying to do something unfair.
Yeah, I have a feeling.
Yep, the Wasteland pins that. Takes out that.
He's drawn a Ponder, so interesting to see if this draws any sort of daze or whatever. All right, there's a land, but it's again
just one fetch land.
You assume that he's going to keep the Flooded Strand and then shuffle.
Right. Yeah. You can get rid of the rest. So.
Yeah. Prozak's hand looks like it has multiple Force of Wills, and he has a good clock going at this point too.
Yeah, that Goyf is 3. No, instant sword. Yeah, instant sword land. It's 3/4. So he's cracking for 3 per turn.
Yep. So there's another basic island trying to give himself some insurance against future Wasteland.
We just need 3 more people to fill up.
I think Broach and Prosak actually sat next to each other during one of the rounds that I birded. So I believe Prosak should know exactly what's going on.
Is that a Wasteland, one of the weird ones?
Yeah, that's a Judge promo Wasteland.
Ooh, you fancy, huh?
Ooh, you fancy. And a reason there to just break the fetch land right away instead of waiting is in case Prosak has Stifle in his deck. So Prosak looks at a Ponder of 2 Bolt and a Tarn, keeps it, and takes the Tarn for his turn.
And just passes the turn right back.
With a million soft count. His hand actually, I think, might be 7. Like 3/4 of will is a Pierce.
So that City of Traders can enable a show and tell maybe right now, but use a show and tell and have a lot of backup.
But I don't even think he has a lethal hand off the Hive Mind. I don't think he has a red pact or anything. He might be able to push it through, and that gives him a lot of live draws. But I don't actually think he can win.
He has a blue pact, but he's going to potentially need to that blue pact to actually get this in.
Yeah, I mean, once you play the City of Traders into the Wasteland, like you're committed to casting something.
Right.
This turn.
And he's not though. He just says go.
So maybe he's trying to fire off an intuition here.
I didn't see an intuition in him, but maybe. And
all right.
Oh, there it is. Okay, he is going to intuition.
Imagine this will meet a Pierce.
Yep, spell Pierce for that. Does not bode well for Jason.
It's like, does he start fighting through this? He's got so many redundant pieces in his hand, I think he actually has to fight over this intuition.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to force back with
a Hive Mind.
Hive Mind, okay. Well, if Adam did not know before, the jig is now up.
I think this is going to be another Pierce.
And this is be able to fight Force of Wills with Spell Pierce is it's pretty sweet. You are generating so much advantage.
Yeah.
2 cards for 1 card and 1 mana.
All right, so we're letting that resolve. The intuition is still on the stack here.
Yes.
And it's going to be met with another Pierce. And that's going to resolve, and now the Wasteland happens, and this is there's a Pact of the Titan, which can generate a lethal hand, but I just don't think he has a 3rd mana. I don't even know if he can punch through all of Prosak's counterspells, even if he did. He just drew another Pierce, so.
Oh, God.
2-headed giant competitors, your pairings for the second round.
And this is Rug Delver at its most efficient. This is sort of what the deck is trying to do.
Yeah, I'm just going to clock you and stop you.
There's an Ancient Tomb. Going to 3 here, which means if Prosak, I don't think Prosak has a bolt, but if he does have one, that means it's game. Oh, no, he does actually have one. All right, he's responding with a lethal bolt. That's going to draw out a Pact of Negation.
And that's going to get Force of Will.
Discards a Ponder.
And
okay,
there it is.
A pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I play a guy, stop you from doing stuff. I'm still pretty confused by Jason's Ponder at the beginning of that game.
Yeah.
He was clearly mana light, and I didn't even really catch what he kept with Ponder that could really justify just not being able to hit land drops.
Right. He kept like a land and 2 3-cost spells, which.
Did he only have 1 land to begin with?
Right. He kept like Island or Underground Sea Ponder, I think, something like that, and found an island, but. It was a sketchy hand in any circumstance here. Okay. So going to the sideboard here, we have Prosak has 2 copies of Pyroblast that he can bring in, and nothing else really of note.
And Jason has nothing really of note.
He's got Flusterstorm.
Yeah, he has Flusterstorm, which is relevant, and maybe he wants to board an Emrakul, though I doubt it.
I don't like. What is the rationale behind like Emrakul?
When you want Emrakul in your deck?
Versus when you want Progenitus?
I don't really know.
Yeah, I guess if your opponent has Caracas, that's one thing that influences it.
Progenitus also in game 1, you can pitch the Force of Will, so it's not just going to be a dead card if you draw it, whereas Emrakul, unless you're actually show and telling it into play, is.
Yeah, I guess because it's a secondary plan, you'd rather have the Force of Will pitch in game 1, but it's possible Emrakul's just much more powerful against your opponent. Yeah. But I do not really know the difference.
Yeah, it's not something I have a tremendous amount of experience with, that's for sure.
Seems like 1 is just, yeah. Like I said, the only thing that I can really think of is Caracas as a thing.
Yeah.
Maybe your opponent's on some sort of brain freeze combo you'd rather have. the Emrakul. Oh, they both reshuffle, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I can't even. Guess if your opponent's emptying the Warrens, you probably don't want Emrakul. He's a little tame in that fight. But
not really doing much. Well, I mean, he is hitting for 15.
Yeah. It is relatively small within the scope of things that Emrakul usually does. So, I guess Prosak most likely will just cut a couple of the burn spells. It's possible on the draw he doesn't want Daze as much, but I think it's still got to be good enough, given your other disruption cards, to keep in the deck. Although, actually, Spell Snare only has Grim Monolith, it appears, as a target.
Yeah, I think Spell Snare is generally pretty bad.
Okay, yeah, so it's Snare that's got to go. Never mind.
Jason's deck has Pact of the Titan, Pact of Negation, Summoner's Pact, then just says 1 Slaughter.
Come on up to the stage.
It doesn't say Slaughter Pact.
Probably.
I'm guessing it's a Slaughter Pact.
It is somewhat implied.
It's like, hey, look at all these pacts. But yeah, it's just a little peculiar. Everything else is so precise and perfect about his handwriting and his deck list. And
so you can Summoner's Pact for Brigenna's game 1 to give you Force of Will back off of something that can also kill your opponent if it. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what the utility is of one versus the other.
Sure. I think it's my guess is primarily A, it gets hit to Force of Will, and B, it doesn't get hit with Caracas. Those two seem like the sort of big points in the favor of Progenitors. Yeah. If anyone out there is a hive mind show and tell expert and happens to know the sort of distinctions between them, we'd be happy to hear them. Let us know at SCG Live.
So it looks like Jason Broach is keeping his 7 while Prosak is taking a mulligan. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, you can tell from his face. Didn't even need to see him, say anything.
Well, he pump faked me there. That's why I was.
Okay. His expression gave it away.
So do you remember the old ban list when was the Juggernaut, Hypnotic Spectre, Curdy era?
The original extended band list?
Yeah.
It's like, you cannot play with Juggernaut. It's like, I wasn't going to play with Juggernaut
Every deck list starts with 4 Plow, 4 Bolt, 4 Disenchant. So I'm probably not that enthusiastic about putting a Juggernaut in my deck.
It was actually pretty hilarious. Like, people were playing Wildfire Emissary in this actually very high-powered format because Wildfire Emissary dodged Bolt and Plow. And it's like, you really wanted to ban Juggernaut?
Yeah.
Was this really, you feel this was necessary?
Early perception on power level was pretty funny. It's like, in the history of Magic, how often has a creature been too good? It's like almost never. And so it's like, how often is it a creature like Curdape? The answer is never. That has never happened. But
yeah, it's pretty funny that Curdape got banned.
Yeah.
Like, really? Curdape?
Although we can look in the future and see that Nikado got banned and monitor. I
still say really, Nikado?
Yeah. Yes.
But I understand the motivation, but.
So Broach will lead off with a Scalding Tarn into a basic island.
All right.
And hopefully, with the amount of time Jason is taking to shovel here, he is not casting a Ponder. I will walk over there and.
I believe your deck is sufficiently random.
Yeah, you're good, man.
I believe you.
So we're looking at Ancient Tomb, City of Traders, Brainstorm. And his hand appears to have sufficient mana. He has another Ancient Tomb and a Volcanic Island, so I assume this will result in a shuffle.
Attention to the giant competitors, Dale Height and Trowel. Your round has started. Your opponents would like to play. Please find your seats.
Still mulling this over.
One might say he is pondering his options.
And we are going to shuffle.
Great.
Cool. Bump, 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 bump. So yeah.
How about that ponder?
This is my least favorite. This is my least favorite turn 1 in Magic, by the way.
Yeah.
Fetch land, ponder, shuffle.
Really? Why?
Because 5 minutes has passed and nothing has happened. And He has just drawn a Progenitus, so we've settled that debate, I guess, in this matchup.
It's definitely in the deck. The question is whether both are in, I think. Well, at least we had
this is a little bit faster.
Adam's quick with that.
Yeah. Well, he knows I'm watching. I've yelled at him about this before, so.
Like, come on, man.
Let's hit the wrap it up box. Let's get this going, you know?
Please come on over. The other 6 guys would like to start playing.
And so Prosak will draw, and presumably there's no Phyrexian mana action in his deck. He passes the turn.
So, Jason will play
an Ancient Tomb.
Does he have Show and Tell? I don't see.
He does
one.
have a Show. I thought he had Show and Tell in his hand. I thought I saw Show and Tell and Intuition.
Oh,
but I think
you want to cast either. I think if you have either of them, you want to cast them there because you're playing against a deck that has both Wasteland and Spell Pierce, and your opponent's tapped out.
Yep.
Like if you're gonna Intuition, you want Intuition main phase. I think.
Yeah. If you're gonna make him daze, you want him to.
Right.
All right. So it's resolving.
All right.
It appears to be resolving.
Yes. I mean, you also don't want to get Spell Pierced either.
Right. So we are looking for...
Pick a card, any card. And then 2 more of them. It's going to get Show and Tell? No?
Nope, passes through the Show and Tell, so we're not on that plan.
What does he want?
I don't see any Emrakul's in his deck. Maybe he wants Grim Monolith?
Maybe. I mean, what's his plan? Like, what's he trying to play around here? Like, if he did have a Show and Tell and Progenitus in his hand, I don't understand his, not just casting it that turn.
He probably didn't want to get dazed, but okay, he's getting Flusterstorm.
Okay. Going for protection.
So he has 1 main deck and then 2 more on the board. So after a board, it becomes an Intuition target.
You can have this one. I believe we saw a Goose in Adam's hand, which I imagine is likely to get loose.
It's been unloosened. Your Ancient Tomb is...
yeah, that goes away. Like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. He's drawing an Ancient Tomb, so we can just... Now you have to be pretty confident that Daze is not in his hand, right? Like...
Gerald Tilley.
It looks like Jason has a Forcible. I don't... Oh. I mean, I guess he's got to have Show and Tell, but...
Okay. It resolves. All right. One's bigger than the other.
I mean, like, I'm somewhat confused by this line of play because, I mean, he didn't want to do it last turn, but he wants to do it this turn. I guess, like...
It's possible his hand's just forced at this point. Like,
yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I would have just gone for it last turn.
Right.
Also, it seems like in this matchup you would definitely want Emrakul because the Rug deck from certain board states can actually race a Progenitus, not from here.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see just like him being a Show and Tell deck now instead of a Hive Mind deck.
Yeah. I didn't see Emrakul when he was Intuitioning.
Sure.
Progenitus has protection from everything. How can you beat it? It is impossible.
And yeah, everything.
But yeah, there's definitely...
Well, if you have a Baneslayer Angel and enough Exalted, race it.
I actually see Maverick decks race it all the time.
Yeah. With like Jit or something.
Yeah. The problem with Emrakul, unfortunately, is he is bad against actually every sword. He has every color. So everything, you can sword anything you want, any sword you want, and race.
With Progenitus, you mean?
What?
You said
against Progenitus.
Yeah, against Progenitus.
But yeah, it seems like you would want Emrakul because there's actually some positions from which the Rug Delver deck can just race or go over the top. Whereas, because it is so permanent light, any attack from Emrakul just ends the game on the spot. There's no way that... It's so unrealistic for Prosak to get 7 permanents into play, or 6 or whatever. You need to keep anything from it.
My inclination is that his plan wants to be just the Show and Tell into gigantic monster, whether it's Emrakul or Progenitus. I imagine it really doesn't seem like the overall hive mind plan is that good in this matchup, especially considering there's like Daze and Spell Pierce in Prosak's deck, which he can use to potentially counter his own copies during his upkeep so he doesn't die, or use it to counter his own copies so he doesn't die.
The problem is that it seems impossible for him to make a full conversion because he has so many slots in his deck devoted to the combo. He has 4 Hive Minds, 4 Pact of Titan. He has 6 packs plus the 4 Hive Minds plus Pact of Negation, which becomes much worse when you're show and telling because you can't win that same turn.
Right, it's true.
So I don't think he can make a full conversion. Yeah, he might shave out or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I could see maybe take out Summoner's Pact, maybe take out Slaughter Pact, or a couple packs here and there. Bring in Emrakul and Flusterstorm.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe he de-emphasizes the combo somehow, but it is impossible to make a full swap without bringing in such dubious cards as Leyline of the Void and Leyline of Sanctity.
Those don't really do anything.
Right.
So we prefer cards that do something.
Yep. And I know that Hive Mind was sort of the toast of the Legacy town for a little while. I remember Ben Schwartz winning the Seattle Legacy Open a little bit while ago with that deck.
A lot of Hive Mind success was during the reign of Mental Misstep, because it was a combo deck that was not vulnerable to Mental Misstep and could play Mental Misstep. So a lot of the aggressive decks and a lot of the decks that could play cards like Spell Pierce to beat you could Mental Misstep.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were playing Mental Misstep, which was bad against you. So you had a lot of that going on for you as well.
And the deck can still win on turn 2 with its best draws in turn 3, somewhat realistically. So. You still get a lot of the high power level of the combo deck with some durability against were the common disruption tools at the time.
Yes. Being able to both be resistant to and play sort of the best disruption is pretty powerful. So Adam Prosak this game opens with a Delver on the play off of a tropical island. Jason Broach has Scalding Tarn, which he sacks, and is going to shuffle.
Finds a basic island. Very important for him to get his basics as much as he can to protect himself from Wasteland. And we have a Ponder.
Hey, look, Fetchland Ponder. He's been a little quicker this game.
Yeah, that was a fine shuffle. We got Pact of Negation. Is that a Hive Mind?
I always find it kind of funny when I'm actually looking at the screen here, and I turn my head as if I'm gonna sort of crane to see the cards in his hand. When no, actually that's just not how it works.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna see from a different perspective, despite the fact that I'm changing the position of I'm viewing from. It looks like he's keeping again.
Draws a Pact of Negation.
Pact of Negation, and Ponder is in play. Just gonna stay there. Just gonna hang out.
Just gonna block this turn, probably.
Yeah. He's like, you don't think you keep that one.
No.
It's not like Dark Ritual when you started playing. You're like, oh, this just makes 3 swamps once I play it. I just Dark Ritual now. I had 3 swamps.
Yeah. Prosak with a cracks a Tarn, gets a Volcanic.
Prosak able to just get whatever sort of duels he wants. No need. Really doesn't even have basics, but certainly doesn't have to worry about Wasteland from the Hive Mind deck. Nor does he care too much about his life total. It does matter in the potential races with Progenitus, but not so much in general. And another Delver, and a Goose.
It looks like Prosak's hand is Blue Spell, Force of Will, Wasteland is what's left over. So basically, it's a huge priority for him to flip those Delvers as soon as possible.
He would like to see a spell on top of his deck.
All right, so we're going to crack the Tarn.
So Jason able to use his Ponder to basically just get one of those 3 cards. It's one of the particularly powerful things about Ponder in formats that do have fetch lands. You're able to use it for a bit more selection than you can when you're sort of stuck with the 3 that you leave on top.
Yeah. Similar action with Evolving Wilds, except way more efficient.
Right. Yeah. So players are pretty chatty.
Yeah, but Prosak's Force of Will can probably hold off Broach if these Delvers flip and he has them on a 2 or 3 turn clock. It is unlikely to be able to hold him off for very much longer than that, though. So
right, yeah.
This is a big flip.
He needs that to go his way this turn. His clock, a clock of 7 is very different. And there's a bolt.
All right.
2 spots left in
So,
the last Legacy Winnabox.
There when he needs it. Lightning Bolt, not the best draw, but it essentially his clock. 7/7. It matters. It keeps Broach off of being able to fetch or use an Ancient Tomb if he's able to. He gets in one more attack. So 7.
It's gonna knock him down to 10
life. Which it is actually lethal with one more attack.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Unfortunately, I think that Prosak cannot. If he actually has the Hive Mind combo this turn, I don't think Prosak has enough to hold him off.
Oh, and there's a fetch land. That's actually he has to. If he show and tells into if he has show and tell into Emrakul, that's good enough.
Yeah, it has.
But it has to be Emrakul.
Yeah.
It can't be Progenitus because Progenitus gets raced by that Lightning Bolt and the 2 flying Insectile Aberration.
Yeah. But if he has the Hive Mind kill this turn, I think it's very realistic for him to be able to go to the top of one Force of Will is not going to get it done.
Because of Pact of Negation.
Yep.
So, Broach. An important turn.
Yeah, this has got to be...
I see a Progenitus. That's not going to do it.
I also see a Pact of the Titan, so... Prosak just with the 1 Force of Will and blue card. All he has to hold him off.
Jason has seen Lightning Bolt. He knows... I mean, and even if the Lightning Bolt wasn't there, he's going to die to 2 attacks from Delta.
Yeah, you got to
race the Progenitus.
Show and tell.
Show and tell.
That is met with a Force of Will.
Pitching Thought Scour. Jason, likely to Force of Will back.
I think Jason's got him.
I don't see...
He has a Hive Mind, a red tag. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is over. I think Force of Will pitching
Progenitus.
That does not bode well for Adam. It's like, well, you got something better. You got something better than Progenitus put into play. So.
And there's Hive Mind, and there's Pact of the Titan.
Pact. And there it is.
There it is.
Jason Broach with the turn 3 Hive Mind win.
Yep, through a Force of Will.
Yeah. So as we were saying, some of these combo decks are pretty resilient to disruption.
Yeah. The first game, basically, the crux of the first game was Broach getting beat up so bad by Wastelands.
Yeah.
And it just led all of Prosak's